Silverwood, America's theme park. Nestled in the green mountains of North Idaho, it is one man's expression of the American dream. Born from its humble beginnings as a working aerodrome over 26 years ago, Silverwood is still a family-owned business that has blossomed into a world-class theme park, creating memories for 750,000 guests annually. From its living heritage of a steam engine, Old Number 7, to the harrowing coasters and wettest of wave pools, from the beautiful flowers to the unforgettable smell of the homemade food, it truly is a park for all generations. It's a place for families, for friends, or even new friends that have yet to meet. A place where everyone feels like family and can be themselves, remembering what it's like to be happy and smile again. This is Silverwood, America's theme park. Computers. The roller coasters across the inland northwest skyline began with computers, or more specifically, the software that runs them. As a young entrepreneur, Gary Norton found he had a way with computers and could easily assimilate the language they used to operate. Through this, ISC Systems Corp. was born in 1977 and became one of the great financial software and machine companies of the 80s. When Gary decided to leave the computer business and sell his company in 1988, he was ready for a new challenge. His life began to revolve around a fascination with the way that humans have traveled throughout history. Whether it be automobiles, planes, boats, or even trains, Gary wanted to be a part of it. After buying and restoring several boats and planes, Gary decided to purchase a little piece of Mother Nature in the northern panhandle of Idaho, called Henley Aerodrome. As a working airport, Gary now had a place for his collection of planes and antique automobiles. Then, it happened. One day at a dusty auction in a quiet corner of Nevada, he met a steam train he couldn't refuse. A 1915 Porter steam locomotive engine fondly named Old Number 7. This changed everything. His petite little aerodrome was now shifting to become the backdrop for his train because, as every little child who's had a model train knows, where you have a train, you must have a little town for it. And that's exactly what Gary did. Before long, a delightful little Victorian village sprang up at the aerodrome, and Gary decided to open this, the most delightful of little villages, to the public, and thus, Silverwood was born. Most thought he was crazy, but for Gary, it was always passion first and business second. And if history was due to repeat itself, his passions seemed to have a way of turning into successful businesses, and surely Silverwood would be no different. As time passed, people came. They brought their children, their grandchildren, and today, their children's grandchildren. In the 26 years since people first arrived at this odd little airport in North Idaho, Silverwood has steadily grown, each year refining what Gary's vision of the park is, becoming more mature and even more adventurous, but always with a focus on fun. Gary says, "We're in the business of smiles," which has never been more true than it is today. Now, Silverwood covers more than 220 acres and is visited by over 750,000 people from around the world each year. Yet, in a place where up to 10,000 people will visit in any given day, something as seamlessly complex as Silverwood doesn't just end up running on its own. In its peak season, Silverwood virtually becomes an entirely new town on the landscape of North Idaho. And just like with any little town, it has its own mayor, the general manager, food and restaurants, transportation, entertainment, water treatment systems, bank, and even fire and medical services. It truly is a little town that assembles daily and flows like a well-oiled machine. With so many moving parts in this elegant machine, much of it happens out of sight behind the scenes, an unseen daily feat. Each day, the park wakes up before sunrise and begins its daily routine of setting the stage for each family's unforgettable visit. Before the guests are even out of bed in the morning, the park is being cleaned, watered, inspected, scrubbed, and stocked in preparation for the thousands of smiles that will come through the gate that day. None of these things will be possible without the heart of the machine, the cast members. With over 1,300 cast members each year, Silverwood employees are some of the best people and talent in the entire Northwest. Ranging in ages from 14 to 89, the culture of Silverwood's North Idaho hospitality transcends the generations and becomes a family. And it's that family feeling that draws guests to return each year and makes Silverwood their own new family tradition. Silverwood, America's theme park.